Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at McFarlane's DC Direct, the new Batman Adventures Two-Face. This is Two-Face as he appeared in the 4th season of Batman the Animated Series. I pre-ordered this thing from the McFarlane toy store, utilized the bundle discount and the coupon code, and got a pretty good price. They arrived today, so let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, McFarlane Toys, Two-Face, ages 12 plus. The new Batman Adventures, here he is in the package, looks like 6 hands, gas mask, stopwatch, and then a sort of container or bag. He also has a display stand and some art from the cartoon. One side of the package, Two-Face. Other side, just simply says Two-Face on the back. Here he is posed up, flipping his coin. And at the bottom, there's his barcode, if that helps anybody. So with no further ado, let's open him up. And of course, I did get 2 of these figures. One of which to open and enjoy, the other one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related unopened action figure collection. And I went ahead and dug out my original DC Direct, the new Batman Adventures Two-Face. Doesn't look like there are very many differences, except the new one doesn't have a gun. As most of you know, Warner Brothers has a no-gun mandate. Any officially licensed DC figures cannot come with guns in any way, shape, or form. It looks like that's still a thing. So here's this entire wave. Like I said, I got it from the McFarlane toy store. And there are minimal differences from the original releases, which is disappointing to somebody who's been all in since the beginning of this line. And here are the original releases by DC Direct of these 4 figures. Nice re-release for those who missed them. And as you guys are aware, I got 2 of these bundles. Now I checked my order history at the McFarlane toy store, and even after shipping and taxes, they came out to $21 per figure. Not a bad deal. And here's my entire collection of DC Direct Batman the Animated Series figures. I have them all unopened, and it looks like we have 4 more to add to the collection. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He has a display stand, reproduction of some art from the cartoon, 4 alternate hands, totaling 6 interchangeable hands, gas mask, a little sort of stopwatch, and then a bag to carry his accessories. But before we take a look at all that, let's talk about the figure. So this is Two-Face from Season 4 of Batman the Animated Series. They revamped the animation, and personally I prefer the original, but to each their own. This figure is done with the black and white traditional suit. His legs are super small and his feet are super tiny, makes him hard to stand, and that has always displeased me about him. So let's take a look. Start with his face here. Face looks pretty good. It's split 100% down the middle. He's got gray hair sticking up one side, black hair neatly kept on the other. Harvey Dent. Two-Face. Now his skin is done in sort of a green-blue type color. I like the suit, the black and white, and everything's opposite, from the shirt inside to the tie to the jacket to the pants. His feet are just so goddamn small. Look at that. That sucks so bad. And I know they were stylized sort of like that, but man, that makes for a horrible action figure. The Two-Face from Batman the Animated Series is not like that at all, and it does frustrate me. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt, you can see how it's a straight line right down the center of his face, which is kind of ridiculous. If someone was really scarred on half their face, it would not be a straight line like that. Harvey Dent. Two-Face. And then here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go with all of his removable parts detached. Now for his accessories. Let's start off with the display stand. It comes in 3 separate pieces. When put together, it's going to look like this. It's got the base here, the new Batman Adventures, then a post that goes to the top with a clamp to hold your figure. Now for the animation cell reproduction. It's an image of Two-Face from the new Batman Adventures. Looks just like the figure. The new Batman Adventures. On the back side, new Batman Adventures, animation, cell production from Sins of the Father. Season 1, Episode 2, and Season 4 from my point of view. Little description. It does have this sort of piece you can punch out, and then you can display it like a photograph or a picture frame. Now let's look at his hands. He has a total of 6 of them. 3 right hands and 3 left hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And now, his second pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands with trigger figures for the gun that he did not come with. And here he is with his next pair of hands. This is a pair of default hands. They would look good relaxed at his sides. And inside of this open hand, he has a coin, but it's painted flesh color, so it's really kind of dumb and pointless. I do also want to say, when switching the hands in and out, the wrists are very sturdy, very strong. Some of them have been very brittle in the past. Seems like it's sturdier on this guy, although he doesn't have the hinge joints there. Now for his gas mask. This should go over his face. You can see it's got some black lenses, the breathing filter, and on the inside it's pretty blank. Here's Two-Face wearing that gas mask. Fits over his face perfect. Then we have the stopwatch, or pocket watch. Now, small detail, you can see the clock and the hands. Looks to be sort of a little gold pocket watch. Here's Two-Face holding that pocket watch. It's so small it almost looks like a coin in his hand. If they ever make a Clock King, this would be a great accessory to give to him. Then we have Two-Face's container. I believe it's supposed to be a suitcase, but it looks kind of like a man purse. Now, it's very blocky, very basic, but guess what? It does actually open. You can store all of his accessories inside. Here's Two-Face holding that suitcase. Here's some more accessories that came with the original DC Direct version that the McFarlane version did not come with. We have a pistol and a Tommy gun, and I understand that. Warner Brothers simply will not allow McFarlane to do that. But then we also have these two canisters. They came with a liquid that when you mix together, makes a poisonous gas. He was trying to wipe out the entire city in the episode. Interesting they didn't come with those at least. And one other difference is the coin on his hand on the original version is painted, and this one it is not. Now to check out the differences between the McFarlane re-release and the original DC Direct version. McFarlane's on the left, DC Direct on the right. So the biggest difference, he has a little bit more glossier paint job. It looks a little bit crisper. I mean, keep in mind this figure's a little bit old at this point. But if you look at the faces, dark side's a little more blue on him, a little more green on him. I don't know, the black and white just feels a little more crisp on the new one. Really not a lot of differences. And a lot of people ask about the quality control. This was an earlier figure. I've never had a problem with this Two-Face. Some of the other figures have broken like crazy. My biggest problem with this Two-Face is his small-ass feet, and this guy did not improve on that in any way, shape, or form. Do not misunderstand me. The plastic quality control is significantly better. I was just saying I never had a problem with Two-Face in the past, but moving his hips, like this guy here, feels good, feels sturdy, doesn't feel like there's anything to worry about. And this guy here, moving it out, and it's just like resisting, and I can almost hear like a cracking noise. It's the paint. I don't know. I don't like it. He's a little bit looser, but you know, he's 10 years old at this point. It definitely feels a lot better on him, but part of it is he's new and he's still tight and fresh. But I do feel a lot more comfortable moving all his arms and legs versus the original one. But never really had a big problem with Two-Face. Batman and Batgirl, on the other hand, those guys definitely broke on me in numerous places. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, now for his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing right at 6 inches tall, which can translate to just over 15 centimeters, and the flip of his hair is just a little bit taller. And now for his articulation. Starting with his head, can rotate side to side, can look up and down, really just a little bit. Can't really tilt his head from side to side much. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out a little bit less than 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. His jacket is made of a rubbery material, gets out of the way as you move the arm up. Single jointed elbow goes in less than 90 degrees with rotation. His wrist can simply rotate. They don't have the hinge part, which is kind of a surprise. Torso is one solid piece. It is, I think it's just a traditional waist swivel, no ball joint. Legs here, they look okay like this, but when you spread them out, they look just hideous. And they're so small and thin. I know it's trying to be accurate to the show, but man, that really sucks on the action figure for standing and displaying purposes. Legs go forward about that much, back about that far. He has single jointed knee. Then the ankles, and my God, those feet suck so bad. They really just rotate. They don't do anything else. And maybe they did that to sort of help you stand them up, but God, those feet suck. Here's a look at my Two-Face shelf. As you can see, the wall in the background is split down the middle, half brick, half wood. And let's look at some further details. So we have some Harvey Dent campaign posters. We have the table, which contains The two briefcases on either side, some coins at the bottom, pistols, bunch of coins, the two gas containers, a little briefcase with a pistol and some more coins. And if you notice, the table is a wrestling table, and I use both a light on the left and a dark side on the right. Two flags in the back, one burnt, one intact. A giant coin flipped backwards back here. A darker chair, a darker mirror, darker table with a scarred coin up, and a dark chair. Other side, the total opposite. The coin has the face facing you, the flag is not burnt. It's a lighter mirror, lighter chair, lighter table, and a different kind of chair. Two-faced base, split right down the middle. Here's a look at Two-Face in front of his desk, in his base, flipping his coin, deciding what move to do next. And here he is in his base, with a giant coin behind him. Here's a look at Batman chasing Two-Face through the streets of Gotham. Two-Face has this giant coin he's trying to steal behind him. Now let's check him out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Two-Face figures. Here's the McFarlane re-release on the left, next to the original DC Direct release on the right. And here he is, next to the DC Direct Batman the Animated Series Two-Face, which is a far superior figure in so many ways. Look at his limbs, his arms, his legs, they're so much thicker. His articulation is so much better. He's even a little bit taller. I love that wave and what DC Direct was sort of switching toward. Way better than these small, puny, pencil, spaghetti leg type figures. Then, with all of my McFarlane Two-Face figures, we have the DC Multiverse figures, 3 of those, an animated figure, 1 of those, and then a 1966 figure, 1 of those. And now, with all of my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Two-Face figures, here's this new Two-Face with my Mezco Two-Face figures, and here he is, next to a Mixmax third-party Two-Face, then with a Soap Studios Two-Face, and now, next to the Mattel, the new Batman Adventures Two-Face. Here he is with all of my different Mattel Two-Face figures, and here he is with the Mafex Two-Face figure, and then with an older Kenner Two-Face from Batman Forever. Here are all of my different Two-Face action figures. I count a total of 25 of them, and if I were to say the one that I'm missing, that I was most interested in, would be the Mattel DC Superheroes Black and White Suit Two-Face. That one's pretty cool. Here's Two-Face, next to a few different Harvey Dent action figures. On the left, Mafex, and the two on the right, Mattel. Here's his Two-Face, next to a couple of Hasbro Marvel Legend figures that I use as sort of fill-in for Sugar and Spice. Sort of a comic-themed version. It's the White Queen, and then Jean Grey as, I think, the Black Queen. And here's some older Toy Biz Marvel Legends figures. They just got replaced recently, and they filled in the same role for many years. Then, with a couple of Mattel Wrestling Christian figures, one in a white outfit, one in a dark outfit, some good opposites, and twins working for Two-Face. And now, with a couple of Jazzwares Dustin Rhodes figures, they both have their faces split in two, and work for some good Two-Face henchmen. And I actually have a bloodied up version as well, for after Batman gets hold of him. Here's Two-Face, next to a couple of wrestling Matt Hardy figures. The one on the left is Mattel, the one on the right is Jazzwares, both in straitjackets, both opposite colors. And here, next to a couple of the twins from The Matrix, Two-Face often has twins working for him, and these guys fit the bill. At one point, I bought a bunch of these Mattel Dark Knight movie Deathstroke figures. I was using it for Two-Face henchmen, kind of like the Batman Forever ones, but the scale is smaller than I'd like. They're even too small for this Two-Face. Now let's check him out with some other recent DC Direct animated figures. Here he is the rest of this wave. The new Batman Adventures wave, McFarlane re-release, Batman, Batgirl, Two-Face, and then Killer Croc and Baby Doll. There is a Platinum Chase variant of Batgirl out there. I'm on the hunt for 2 of her. If anyone has a lead on where I can get one, drop me a line in the comments below. Here's Two-Face next to Alfred. Alfred was a single Target exclusive release, and here he is next to the newest Target exclusive Build-A-Figure wave. We have Mr. Freeze, Robin, Batman, Condiment King, and both versions of Scarecrow. Now the next Build-A-Figure wave is Build Lockup. That should be coming out any day now. McFarlane also released a Laughing Fish 4-pack. This is a Walmart exclusive. McFarlane's first DC Direct anime releases was a wave of 3. The new Batman Adventures Batman, Batman the Animated Series Catwoman, and Batman the Adventures Continue, the Batman Who Laughs. Here's a look at all the Batman villains, Batman the Animated Series style. These are done with DC Direct. Gonna add Condiment King to this mix. And here's a look at all the different animated villains, the new Batman Adventure style. Different style, same universe. They all look fantastic next to each other. Now let's check them out. Next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a DC Direct animated figure, they're typically the 6-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the smaller action figure lines I collect, and work my way larger. Here he is with some Jazzwares Fortnite figures, and some SH Figure Arts action figures. And now, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends, and some Mafex figures. Here's Two-Face next to a scented candle, and here he is with some Mattel and Mezco DC figures. Then, with both some Jazzwares and Mattel wrestling figures. And now, with some NECA and DC Direct figures. Next, with some DST or Diamond Select toys, and some Jakks Pacific wrestling figures. And finally, with some McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. So it's a pretty cool Two-Face figure, but I prefer the design of the animated series version for a lot of reasons. Number one, I just prefer that design in general. Number two, the design of the figure I think is horrible from the waist down. His accessories are cool, but they shorted some stuff from the original one. And the guns, I'm not going to hold against McFarlane, but what about the other stuff? Sculpt and paint job, pretty good. I have no issues there. Articulation is very, very limited on this guy. If I had to rate this guy, probably going to go 5.5 out of 10. I was never fond of this Two-Face. His legs and his feet just suck so bad. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.